The Rush Network. Viewers' discretion is advised.
New York Podcast, live on the Evening Rush Network. Real, raw, and uncut Queens.
Hey, happy Monday, everybody.
Hello there.
How do you do?
Yes.
How are you guys?
Oh, my bad. I was trying to share it on Facebook, but it's just not gonna happen.
It be doing what it want to do.
You gotta mute us. You gotta mute us while we talking and do it. That's what I do to y'all every Monday. I do the same thing in the first.
Oh, so you do it that way.
I usually just do it from my computer because it doesn't the sound doesn't automatically play.
I'm gonna have to figure out something.
But whatever. Yeah, I mean, sometimes it do what it want to do. But it's Monday, ladies. It's Monday.
Yes.
How was everyone's weekend?
My weekend was all right. A little busy. Well, very busy. But
I'm gonna say, Envy, you had a busy weekend. I seen all those posts you didn't post.
I've been trying to be honest, but I had a very, very busy weekend.
And cake and candy roses and what?
And Moscato bottles and
It was doing a whole lot this weekend. I was like, Miss, if you post another thing.
That's what it seemed like, because then I get the message, oh, you do that too? You do that too? And I'll be like, yeah, it's not much I don't do, but just work for me because I'm trying to get some stuff out the way, but just deal with me, but I got you.
I got you. Just right. Don't need it right away, okay?
Right. Right. How are you, Precious?
I'm all right. I need a cake though.
That's right. I was looking at that cake with the lady sitting, and I was like, I just wonder what kind of cake that is on the inside.
That was vanilla cake.
Oh, I'll give it to me. I want it.
We gonna make that.
That was vanilla cake. That was a freestyle. They didn't even tell me what kind of cake they wanted. They were just like, she's turning 47. The color's purple. Just make it do from there. And I was like, 47. That's some grown woman. Do something nice.
Grown woman. Mm-hmm.
Right.
So
I just was like, let me see. And I actually was very surprised when it came. I was like, oh my God, this is really, really pretty. I had the thought, but then once I went to work and it came out, it was like, pow. It's like
execution style. Yes.
I understood the excitement.
What happened?
Our taste buds are grown though, so we can't have some of that grown cake.
Oh boy, that cake is in Yonkers right now. They don't come and pick that cake up. That cake is in Yonkers right now.
We just need you to make it over. That's it. That's what we saying.
I got you. I got you. Then we have Miss Antara Rashida back again.
Honey.
How do you do? How was your weekend?
Hi. How are you?
Thank you for joining us.
How are you?
We're good. We appreciate you for joining us again.
How's everybody? I had a great
as well.
It was good. It was a good weekend.
That's good.
It was great. Restful, finally.
That's good.
At least somebody had a restful weekend.
I was about to say,
I did. I needed it.
These girls, we be moving and grooving. We tired.
A lot of presentations this week. The suicide walk with my Eastern Star.
Oh yeah, that's on Sunday, right?
This Sunday, yes. And so, out of darkness into the marvelous light is our theme to raise awareness around suicide. And so it's really dear to our hearts. Some people in our chapter has lost loved ones. From my mom, who continues to live in spite of, and so it's really important to me. So I'm excited about that on Sunday. I'm excited about Zipporah's sweaters. She rocks hoodies. Yes,
some of them is on the way.
Number 442.
Yes.
So yes, I can't wait to see what that's looking like, and I'm loving the Envious Creations.
Put your name on it.
I did this. That's right. I did this.
Yes. The pink shirt that I did, he was like, because he's a TikToker. He said, put your logo on it and I'll shout you out. And I was like, okay. And then when he was like, and it better be on the seat, I was like, well, damn, let me go and unbag them shirts and let me repress them because they was about ready to go.
That's it.
Look at that. Somebody gave you another idea. Now that's brand your stuff. That's right. And Tara, where's the walk this weekend?
So South Street Seaport,
Okay.
Pier 16. So
And that's
downtown
what,
Lower Manhattan.
Sunday?
Sunday. It's Sunday, right? The walk is
Yeah,
on
the
Sunday.
23rd. I
Yeah.
think
So if anybody is interested, you can still go to
That's
No,
a
that's
Saturday. The 23rd.
The 23rd is Saturday.
so. The
Sunday.
24th.
Sunday at from 10. Well, it starts at 11. So Sunday from 11 to 2. And
So it's on the 24th.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. 'Cause I'm like,
Sunday.
the 23rd is
The 24th Sunday.
24th. Got it. So everybody, it's the 24th.
Yes, the 24th Sunday from 11 to 2.
Got it.
Hey, Facebook user. Hey, Benjamin. Thank you for joining us.
No, so the 24th, and then on the 23rd is Friendship. Huh?
No, I'm listening. We listening.
Oh, okay, I was saying I couldn't hear y'all for a second. Sorry. So I was saying the 23rd is Friendship Baptist Church. They're having a domestic violence panel for young people in relationships and violence. And so I'll be speaking to that. And as soon as I get the flyer from them, I will shoot it to you all so that you can also circulate that as another outlet for people to come and get information.
Awesome. And you're doing a domestic violence forum, of course, which is good for, as we know, October is breast cancer and domestic violence awareness month. As you see us today, we have on our purple. We're going to support, domestic violence next week. 9 times out of 10, hopefully we can do pink next week if we could get a guest. And our topic today is, hey, Dawn, how does domestic violence affect you? I didn't put that, but okay. Domestic violence break the silence. But he's doing his own thing today, but okay.
Y'all hilarious.
Right.
That's our producer.
That's only because I don't have control over the panels today. Biscuit kind of wiped my computer out, and I'm gonna have to regroup all of this over here because I don't know.
You got it, girl. You gon' get to it. It's all right. We have minor slip ups. You know what? Minor slip up for a major recovery.
Girl. Because I don't know. This is crazy. But yes. Domestic violence, how does it affect you? Has anybody on the panel been through a domestic situation? Okay.
I'm not laughing at Precious because she's been through it, but the way she did, she's
just the most like I can't. I think everybody has, whether they want to admit it or not. I think we all been through it some type of way, because I've been through situations. It doesn't just have to be physical. It's mental. It's verbal. It's various ways. Also, men do go through domestic violence situations as well, because there are a lot of women that tend to be very aggressive.
Oh, maybe I'm the domestic violence, and maybe I'm the one who's caused the domestic violence. Oh man, I have to reevaluate myself.
You do. You cannot be the aggressor, child.
But domestic violence is very serious. I used to actually host annual domestic violence awareness fundraiser with Coco. And so we used to do it every year because I was an abuser. I was an abusee and she was an abuser. So we collaborated. And so everybody definitely know my story. I hate to because I'm not a victim of it anymore. I have gotten past it. But to just give a little bit of backstory. So I was in a relationship, and I was physically abused, mentally abused, emotionally abused. It was the worst thing that ever happened to me. I did not grow up seeing domestic violence, so it was really weird to get with someone who, it wasn't like that when we first got together. It was like smoke and mirrors, it was like the nice guy. And then once we had these children, it became the bad guy. And then it was possession, isolation, verbal abuse, a lot of insecurities was running around. And I made a decision one day, while he was stomping me out with a Timberland boot and he spit in my face, I was like, God, if you get me out of the situation, I would never return. And I remember leaving my house with just the clothes that I had on my bag, not even with my clothes or my children, because he wouldn't let me get the kids. And I never returned, and that was since 2011. And I have been done with that, over with.
Amen.
You are a survivor. We are very proud of you.
Mm-hmm.
And we are glad that you are here today. I've had domestic situation, like one of my a past relationship that I was in. It was more so abuse. Like I was like, why I gotta fight for? And it was just more so a lot of jealousy on his part. And then I got a smart ass mouth anyway, but still, it's still no reason. But at the end of the day, domestic violence, it plays a part a lot. It makes you, and that was supposed to be the topic. How does it affect you? It makes you don't want to even be in relationships. It makes you don't trust people. You understand what I'm saying? And it affects you mentally also, even when you have like children, because now it's like, damn, if I do get into another relationship, do I got to go through this again? Do my kids got to see this? Or, do I have to walk on eggshells having a conversation with somebody I think I want to be with, or I may not want to be with? You understand what I'm saying? So it puts you through a big emotional whirlwind, sadly.
You definitely go through an emotional roller coaster, but you definitely have to know your own worth, though, because
absolutely,
like there was no way I was ever going to get back with something like that. I did not care. Like when I say,
because that was your breaking point. Because you had your breaking point. When it's your breaking point, you know it, and no one else can tell you when your breaking point is. People can always say, well, why'd you wait so long to leave? Why'd you wait so long to leave? Because I wasn't ready to accept it at the moment. My breaking point, your breaking point is whenever your breaking point is, and no one can tell you
only you know how much is enough for you.
Right.
Regardless of how much, even though everybody might disagree, girl, leave that man or leave that, at the end of the day, it's like how you put it, like a catch-22. I want to leave, but then I want to stay. And then it's like we make excuses for the toxic relationship.
You definitely make excuses. Definitely make excuses. You try to rationalize it in your brain. You try to like put everything to it as to why you should stay. But at the end of the day, it's all bad.
Right.
You gotta leave it. You eventually gotta leave, because if you stay in it, it's just gonna do nothing but tear you down, break you down. And it broke me down. As a woman, you know what I'm saying, with children. I was going through a lot. And all because I didn't want to leave, because this is my family. Like, you want to seem like you failed. A lot of people, like, we suffer from like, oh, I don't want to fail. That was the failure. Staying there was the failure. Trying to, create this perfect home for my kids. It wasn't perfect for me. I was getting.
It was perfect for them, because he's a very good father, but he was not a good
provider or husband or a man. Right.
No. Perfect for them. I was living in a house of horrors, and when I say,
oh damn,
that, like to this day, like it took me years to forgive him, because I couldn't forgive. I was very hurt behind it, because I'm just like, well, damn, like like what happened? Like we were young, but we shouldn't have went through that. Like there's no excuse. Like it's not like he even grew up in a domestic violence household. So it's like, where did you get this from? But when he did we had like a conversation, and he finally like apologized, and I literally just not too long ago got over it. It was like 2016 or whatever. But it was very hard. And then I remember when my kids had asked me, like, why wouldn't you just stay with dad? Like I'm like,
if you only knew.
I was young, and then I experienced him whooping my ass in front of y'all. But that was the house of horrors. Like I was, girl.
When did you finally tell? Did you? Well, I'm assuming you told them, but how old were they when they finally found out the truth about their father?
Well, now they're 16 and 14, so it was. I never really kept nothing from them. It was just the right question in time. So I want to say like 10 for the oldest one, 8 for the youngest one. Like like they just knew that we were not a match. Like because when I had left, he kept the kids for a month. And it's crazy, because the law would not give you your children if it's not in court. Like if you don't have a court order, the father can keep the kids, and he kept the kids for a month. I couldn't see them, and then he finally gave them back. And then the kids were kind of wondering like why you ain't coming with us back home. And I'm like, I won't
That
go
ain't
there.
my home no more.
That's not
Right.
my home. And then, you know, like my mom, it was more so my mom being in a coma, and the reason why he was hitting me was because my mother was in a coma and I was going to go see my mom. Like, it was just like, dude, like, you can't even relate that together. Like, where in your brain would you get mad at a woman for going to go see her mother who's in a coma? So for me to have to see my mother in a coma with a black eye, with like knots on my head and stuff, you know, and I was crying and I was just like, Mom, can I just stay with you? And my mother opened her eyes and she was just like, she just shook her head, yes, because she couldn't talk. But this is how I told my mother, you know what I'm saying, like in a coma. Can you just imagine? That is crazy.
Right.
How do you get mad because your woman is going to go see her mother who's in a coma? This is what I was fighting.
But it's not. They get mad over the littlest things.
But
and that's what the irritating part is.
I don't think that he wasn't mad because you wanted to go see your mother. He was just mad because you didn't want to stay with him. Like men,
Well, it could have been very much
like men
jealousy,
like that,
too.
like they just don't want you to leave the house. Like you were supposed to
Right,
stay in the house
right.
barefoot and pregnant for him.
Yeah. No, he was definitely upset because I was going. It had nothing to do with just like my mom. It was just the simple fact that was just the occurrence that made him break. Like, because he was just like, you know, like, well, why you gotta leave? Like, why you gotta go? And why is your family calling you? They don't know you married. Because the family, like my family was calling me at like in the middle of the night because they found out that she was put in the hospital in the middle of the night. So, you know, of course they're gonna call it the child. And he's like, oh, they don't know you married. They don't know that you sleeping. Like, ain't nobody care about that. Like, wait a minute, you know. And I was trying to be nice about it, but you know, things happen, and I don't live in that space. I don't hold on to that. We are in a better space. Me and him just were meant to be. Thank God.
Right.
Him and his kids are great. We are even greater because we are not together.
Right. Right. We have a couple of comments. Who can see?
Okay.
She said, "Who can see?"
I'm not on the thing.
Oh,
me neither, girl.
Somebody, Adam.
Me neither. Give it a second. Give it 2 seconds.
Oh, Jesus. So was Antara. What are your thoughts on the situation Precious stated that she just went through? Like, what is your opinion? You know, she did remove herself from the situation on her own. I do have a situation that I removed myself from as well. I'll speak on to that as well, and also give various information in case someone watching and going through a situation as well. Oh, she can't hear us?
I think it's just delayed.
Can you hear us, Antara? Oh man.
Oh, she said yes.
She's just delayed.
It's delayed.
Oh, she's okay. What is your opinion on what Precious stated?
So I think, yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, good. Yeah.
I think it's delayed too. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I can. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Let me see.
Who can see the comments? So while she's getting situated, we got Adam the Fitness.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Can you hear us?
Okay.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I can hear y'all. It's just a delay somewhere. So I wanted to make sure. I was actually going to come in. I was actually going to come in on the audio on my phone so that way y'all could hear me and I could hear you a little better.
Okay.
Let's see.
She went on mute.
Okay, so I was trying to go through my phone. I was trying to go through my phone, but I think Don might have fixed whatever I was going through over here. So I would say that number one, you are truly courageous. You are truly brave. And I want to congratulate you for being able to walk away, run away, do whatever was necessary to get out of that situation. In regards to, you know, the action steps that you took and the whole experience, I often feel that our young men are experiencing some violence that isn't addressed. And what happens is women become the outlet for it. And I have a big heart for men in this season because that's how our sisters are going to heal. right? And then from my own experience with emotional and mental abuse, being married to someone who was incarcerated, his childhood trauma, my childhood trauma, and then we took different paths to healing. And so that meant that we had to separate, right? Because when two people are in a situation like that, it becomes explosive. We're looking for ways out, right? And so you don't have to be anybody's MFer. You don't have to be nobody's BI. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to be none of that. And women have started to take that like it's a compliment, or that's just his way of loving me, or he's just protecting me, or he, you know, he's nah, sis, you know. And so at the end of the day, it's not your responsibility to make sure that he gets help, but being able to recognize that he needs help and get on your way, you understand, and say he a job for somebody else. You know what I'm saying? Whether Jesus, the therapist, whoever his mama, that's a job for somebody else, right?
Not me.
It's not me. And so the favorite line that I have is, until the little boy is healed, the man cannot appear. Until the little girl is healed, the woman cannot appear. Right. So for me, it was just seeing how I was doing these trauma healing workshops, seeing how I was talking to people and realizing like I'm in a similar situation, right? And I can't be a hypocrite, right? And so that was the driving force to say, God makes a way of escape, and I'm gonna take this one, right? Allowing myself to continuously be isolated, continuously warming about, you know what I'm saying? Am I fearfully and wonderfully made, or am I that stupid MFer that didn't come up there on that visit and do what he wanted me to do? Right. So at the end of the day, it's about us making sure that we are patient with people who don't have the same strength to leave their relationships. And I think that that's the other component to helping people in DV as well, right? So my best friend didn't have the strength to leave her relationship. So unfortunately, she was murdered. And then he killed himself, right? And so her daughter and I are going to have a panel discussion at the end of the month to talk about the intergenerational trauma of domestic violence. Because you have to be able to be a safe space. You may have to hear their stories 5 and 6 times, and it's okay to say, I can't handle it either. It's okay to say, you know, I can gently hand you over to another support system, right? Safe Horizons, you know what I'm saying? There's so many different organizations. Some have had great experiences, some have not, right? And so I agree with Precious in regards to everything that she has shared, how the courts is a hassle at times. Right, especially for women who are on the welfare system. If you're on the welfare system and you're in a domestic violent relationship and they have to pay for that child, if you're getting cash benefits, they're going to do everything they can to make sure that dad pays, regardless of how much he has hurt mom. So that made me, y'all just come to court on opposite days. Okay, but he knows I'm coming to court, ma'am. So he can still be lurking. He can still send somebody to come get
it. Beat my behind.
It's not designed. It's not designed for mothers in domestic violence. Every year, I get to Safe Horizon because Safe Horizon actually took me when I first called, because I called them and I went to the shelter for like a week, but I wasn't comfortable and I just left with the kids and we went back. So I still gave them the credit though, because that was the first step, and they were gentle with me. It wasn't.
Safe Horizon is awesome.
And so, but like Antara said, there's different experiences, because I know some people who be like,
no, I'm going to explain to you why I say that, because I went through a situation as well.
Right. So they were gentle with me. So every year, even up until this year, I still give them every year at the end of October. I still give money to them. I still
donate and everything.
I still donate, because that's the one thing that I stand true to, because this was real life me. This really happened to me. And when people see me today, or when they see me in general, they're like, oh, you don't look like that. You don't look like that.
Girl, when you told your story, I was like, what?
And then when people see him, they be like, that he did that. Yes. Like, you know,
you'd be surprised. Yeah.
You have to know, and that's what made me like actually forgive him, because I'm like, you know what? I didn't take it in her terms, like what she said about until you heal the little boy, the man can't show. But I basically said that. I was like, you know what? He going through something. It ain't got nothing to do with me. He was punching me, but it wasn't really me. So I'm gonna let him do, and then, you know, like, he didn't, from what I know, he have never done it again. As far as like abusing a woman, and I remember having like these conversations with him. I'm like, you know, like what was it about me that made you do that to me? Like I was the mother of your kids. Like there was no like we didn't start off like that. I was never like, you know, combative or nothing. It was just really weird. So I just had to remove me.
I think personally, when they do it, they do have a pattern. That's just my opinion. They don't just, and it's just my opinion. I don't feel they just single one person out and then do that, and then it's now they mysteriously stop. I think a lot of times it's a pattern, and why I say that is because I've been through the situation before, and this is when Biscuit was smaller, and it was a situation where to the point his father was like, I throw him out the window. It was to the point like it was bad like that. And I was working, and what I noticed, even being city employed, the shit don't get no respect because they look at it, oh, you're for the city, so how are you going through this? Because at the end of the day, it's life. Regardless of the fact, when I clock out, I still go through what I go through. When I come home, I still go through what I go through. My children are still here or whatever. So we had a situation. I called the cops. No, actually, I didn't call the cops. I told my daughter to call the cops. She called the cops, and in the process of that, he stopped fighting me and went and broke her phone. But she was able to go and call the cops, and they were able to come. So what in between him leaving, he actually walked into them, and they seen me bruised up and everything. But I was already doing my homework. I was contacting Safe Horizon. I was looking into, listen, how can I get out the situation? Right. Still being discreet because I'm working for the department. But you don't want everybody in your business. Mm-hmm. And then you still got 2 kids that you got to remove. And why I say Safe Horizon was awesome because of the fact that I called them and I explained them the situation. And they had tried to get me to come in 2 different times before I actually came in. And then what I did was I waited until nobody was home. I waited till his mom was gone, his family was gone, he was gone, and I packed up and I removed the kids or whatever, and I removed myself. And they placed me in a whole apartment. They made me feel comfortable. They made sure me and my kids was good. And to the point when that's why I say when I always say I know how to get missing, I know how to get missing. Like I fell off the grid to the point he couldn't reach me other than he went to courts to put in for visitation. And then now they have to see now that Biscuit's in school, and now ACS has to resurface and reconnect. So the visits went through Safe Horizons through the courts supervised. Then it went through visitation. I was like, no, he's not going over there for the weekend, not right now. This is what he said. This is the track record. This is the police report, situations like that. So we have to come to a neutral ground. So once they started supervising, and it was literally once a week for like an hour, downtown Brooklyn. I was coming from Queens where they had me, and then when you're moved through domestic violence into a shelter, you cannot stay in the borough that the situation took place in. So when I was ready and I found my apartment, I could not move to Brooklyn. I couldn't move to certain parts of Queens. So they do restrict you, and they even like with my workplace, they moved my work site and everything. And then I had another situation where it was just like it seemed like he was just, how can you put it, not happy with himself.
Following you? Oh, I think
no, it was like it was 2 different situations. Two different situations, and it seemed like the second person, it was like he just was not happy with himself. I could go, why you getting your nails done every week? Because this is what I do. When you met me, I have my nails done. I paint them. It was just so much.
But you see how you said that? Like there are a lot of women who find cuteness in my man want to know my every move, and he wants that like have control over like finances or stuff like that.
No, thank you.
That is possession, and that is abuse. That's a form of BC. You know what I'm saying? Like the term what ride or die. He be calling me a ride or die bitch, or like when he calling me bitches and stuff. Girl, that is
no, that ain't it.
Right,
that's not it.
That is not your name. And I tell you that all the time. Like, because it grinds my gears that women even now are still good with those type of terms. That's not okay. My name is Precious. It's either you gonna call me honey, Precious, Fatima, or some term of endearment.
Correct.
So what we not gonna do is the disrespect. And thank God the man I got with after, I didn't have those issues, and I'm just so thankful because I can't. Like, we don't even have like screaming matches. There's healthy conversations around whatever disagreements we may have, but he knows I'm completely traumatized. There is no way I'm dealing with anything like that ever.
Right, and that's the same with me. Right.
The little things could turn into the big things, and stuff like that turns huge. Like, people.
But it gives you limited patience too. That I noticed, because like my patience is not here no more. My patience is more so like, you know what, you don't rub me the wrong way. I'm not gonna even give this type of energy. I'm good. You understand what I'm saying? A lot of people don't realize it's okay to not be with somebody. It's okay to be by yourself. You understand what I'm saying? Because when there's no headaches, there is literally no headaches. And it was crazy because when I removed myself for my ex situation, and I was with him for like 7-8 years, it was crazy. My daughter had asked me, she said, "Ma, do you think so-and-so was blocking our blessings?" I said, you know what? He could have been. Because I noticed, like, once I removed myself, my kids was flourishing in school. I took Josiah out of therapy. They weren't so angry all the time. I didn't have no ACS unnecessary cases, because now you have the situations at home, and just because you're in an ACS situation does not mean there's violence in the home. That just means the kid could be acting out in school. And a lot of times Josiah was acting out in school, and then it was an emotional situation
because she wasn't comfortable in her own space.
Correct. And then a lot of time you just think the child is acting out, and you don't realize, hold up, okay, something ain't right. And that's why now I'm very big on energy. If your energy is not rubbing me right, I'm sorry. You are no good for me. You are no good for mine. You cannot come to my house. I don't even want your money to take your order. You understand what I'm saying? That's the type of time that I'm on. Because it's not like I'm desperate. You understand what I'm saying? All money is not good money. All company is not good company, and every relationship is not meant to be. Some people are just here to be here for the moment. Some people are here to be a lesson or a blessing. And that's what a lot of people don't seem to realize, because life happens, and just because we get blinded by what we see. Oh, he's handsome. Oh, she's pretty. Or she's cool. Or he has good conversation. Deep down inside, he or she might got a whole lot of shit going on with him. A whole lot of mental thing, and you be like, it'd be a big thing on triggers. You might not even realize. You might have been like, oh, your bitch ass, not even realizing that could have triggered him to set him off because of whatever happened in the situation. And that's why it's always good to talk, to learn the person you are trying to date, to learn the person you are considering being around, or even having your kids around, your family around. Everybody don't meet my kids. People don't come to my house, and I'm fine with that. Listen, I see you outside. I'll meet you on New Lights Avenue. Go see me at Gateway. I'm about to go shopping. Stuff like that. You understand what I'm saying? Because everybody is not for you, and everybody's intentions is not well. But before we go,
too. So you gotta remember that there's a lot of smoke and mirrors though too. Because
absolutely.
People will put their best foot forward when they first meet you.
Yes, you can the honeymoon stage, they call it.
You can go through intensive dating and intensive conversations, and then once you guys are filled in, they turn into somebody else. Because there's like, people have a lot with them. You just never know. Like, love does not have to be this trauma that we keep saying that it is. Love is supposed to be healthy. So like, Correct. Even though I went through my situation, and I knew, I was like, I would never, ever be with another man like that. I knew that love, I had positive representation of love. So I knew love was supposed to be healthy.
Right.
Me, let's do this the right way, the healthy way. For you and I, you should have a healthy situation here.
Right.
Too, you know? But I know we got to go to break. We all long-winded and stuff. All right,
we gonna pay some bills. So yes, let's run this commercial. If y'all looking to do a podcast, this is the way to go about it. Let's pay some bills, and to be continued. So stand by, y'all.
We'll be right back.
Looking to podcast shows and do not know where to start? The Evening Rush Network can help you with that. Call us at 929-441-2417 or email us at theeveningrushnetwork@gmail.com for dates and prices. We got you for all your podcast needs. The Evening Rush Network. Tune in, subscribe, and share.
Queens of New York Podcast.
We're back. Y'all queens are looking awfully lovely today.
Thank you. I'll be trying.
We ain't come to play today.
It's the lips for me on you.
It's the lips on me for you to hear that. Emmy came through with
Applying a little pressure. We got to apply a little pressure today.
I don't know if they ready, y'all.
Don't come for us.
How do you spice up your love life with or without toys?
Nice, slow, simple, mellow.
No judgment here. Yeah.
He was trying to do with that toy. I'm gonna take it easy.
Spice it up.
Any suggestions when using different toys and stuff?
A little bit of lube. Playing with your nipples, sucking on your neck. Oh my God.
You won't need nothing if it's hitting.
Naturally juicy, naturally wet.
Right. I ain't trying to be out of order.
I'm a pleasurable treat. Don't be afraid to incorporate your partner into the play.
Get into it.
And that's
The way they
gonna get more
advertising
work
this
done.
role, we might not need extra partay.
It's Monday.
Real, raw, and uncut queens. Live on the Evening Rush Network.
And we all back. Did you like the commercial? Did you like the commercial?
Yo, but I'm telling you that commercial was so fire. I was like, they better work. I was like, because they was like, slay the day. Like, oh, hello.
Thank you.
Yes.
Precious ain't never seen it. You see, we be working in the back, Precious.
Y'all have to see my face. I'm like,
Right.
That's what I was sitting over here like,
Right. Yes. So as y'all can see, everybody, that is our new commercial. That is something we have added. We try to spice it up here and there, like they stated. Real, raw, and uncut. That is how we doing
That
it.
was a spicy conversation that day, though.
Yes. We appreciate y'all for joining us. If y'all don't already, follow us at Rainbow Refreshers, Envious Creations, and 360 Photos. If you don't, please follow us at Queens of NYC Podcast. One word, no asterisk, on Instagram and Facebook. And we are back at it. We're talking about domestic violence today and how does it affect you, and also break the silence. If you see something, say something. There is a domestic violence number. I hope Don does put it up.
No, for domestic violence victims, he gonna put it on the screen. But for domestic violence,
Hey, Team Rose.
victims, High Rise is 1-800-621-HOPE. For victims of crimes and their families is 1-866-689-HELP. For rape and sexual assault victims, it's 212-227-3000. We are gonna put everything.
Yes, please.
Because I know that was just like a lot that just like, I just recited or whatever, but there are, and of course, if there's a case of emergency, you call 911. But hopefully now they are sending out help change agents instead of cops, because cops are they bring more.
They're not really trained for that.
Right. Am I correct? I believe, don't quote me, but I think that's what they're starting to implement is a change agent program instead of the police coming out, because it gets kind of crazy and they escalate situations a little bit more. But sometimes you need the cops. Like, now I'm not one of the people who don't think we don't need no cops. Sometimes you need the cops.
Now, if he out there beating your behind, he needs to be arrested. But
if y'all need some collaboration supports that are offered, right? And so, like you said, some police departments are training their police officers to understand how to be more empathetic and compassionate and talk a situation down, right? It's just like if somebody was getting ready to talk somebody off the ledge, it might be easier to shoot them in the arm and make them fall back, but that's not the goal. The goal is to get them to come off by themselves and to move forward, right? And so it's just really about them making better decisions.
But don't say cops take too long.
They do take too long. Right. They absolutely do. You know what I'm saying? People have died before they have gotten there.
They're already gone.
Yeah, it's a wrap, and then you got to also remember, cops are nervous. They scared. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, like, they're human. And I think that sometimes they come with all of that anxiety and fear. And like Rainbow was saying earlier, energy is felt. Energy is out, right? But I want to say something about keeping our hearts, right? And so, I'm going to just drop it for you.
Let's go.
You already know. So
let's go.
The basic instructions before leaving Earth tell us what? It say keep vigilant watch over your heart. That's where life starts. Don't talk off both sides of your mouth. Avoid careless banter, white lies, and gossip. Keep your eyes straight ahead. Ignore all so distractions. Watch your step, and the road will stretch out smooth before you. Look neither right nor left. Leave evil in the dust. I say that to say to you that we hear it this way often. For out of our heart springs forth the issues of life. That is what that means when it says out of our heart springs forth the issues of life. Out of these men's hearts, out of these women's hearts, their issues are flowing out of their life. And so when Precious said earlier, like I asked him, why me? Well, the opposite of love is hate, right? And so oftentimes a person gets so close to you, right, that the fear of losing you makes them the idea of not having you. So I'm gonna take everything out on you.
And that's the thing that I hate, because I was told that if I can't have you, can't nobody else have you. And I was like, we're not doing that.
We're not doing that. And so what Envy was describing was for colored girls who considered suicide when the rainbow was enough. When he said when he threw both them babies out the window. You understand? Like, and I think that we so often don't want to address those issues, and a lot of people don't want to talk about trauma. And I tell them all the time, I'm not trauma consumed, I'm trauma informed, because the world is full of it.
But you know, but I was told that, and Tara, that's the thing. He told me that.
Right.
And I was like, really? We not doing that. We not.
And in the beginning, it feels cute, like you said. And it depends. I think it takes women, and because we'll talk about men, but from a woman's perspective, be honest about where you were when you got in that relationship. For some.
Right.
And then for others, like Precious said, there's smoke and mirrors. It's called new energy. It's called new relationship energy, right? So that NRE that a lot of people have, what makes them say, I could play this role. Like I've always said, I never wanted to date an actor. Because I was like, I got enough to deal with, you know what I'm saying, in here, and trying to figure out if you true or if you fake. And I don't need nobody who's going to be constantly like performing for me. You know what I'm saying? Because when people are selfish, they perform for you because they want to get in certain side of you. So they can't be authentic. And so it's really about you being able to discern and being able to say, where am I in this process? You understand? And where I was at that time, my self-esteem was low. You know what I'm saying? I was feeling abandoned by my family. I was a prime candidate for isolation and to be believing anything that was said to me, right? And so he got me. He got me good for years. I gave me to him. You understand? And when I started to realize, like, I don't got to take this. I don't got to do this.
Right.
Like, oh, now I'm a beat you in the head until you realize like that you can't do it by yourself. And that's where the war really starts for the victim, to become a survivor, to then become an overcomer. Right?
To regain your independence more so.
Exactly. Because survivors just want to get out. Overcomers go back and get survivors and tell them how they make it over.
There you go.
Right. And so it's important that as we start to go through that warfare internally, we need people around us. And if we don't have anybody, your faith better work for you to help you understand I'm bigger than this. He said I was fearfully and wonderfully made. He said I was made in his image. He said I was the apple of his eye. That got to be louder than that brother saying to you, bitch, you ain't shit.
Right.
And I don't care how you feel. You understand? It's got to be greater than that, because if it's not, it'll pull you to a place where you feel like I can't get out of this. And that's why
that's how so many women feel.
Right.
That's exactly how so many women feel. You understand? And so you can't be afraid to get low with somebody, but you got to know your limitations and your capabilities.
Absolutely.
And so for me, when my best friend said, hey, sis, I need to sublet your spot. And I had to pray and I had to ask. God was like, no, that hurt me. It crushed me, because I was like, how do you tell your friend no? And when she was murdered, I understood why God said no. It would have been a murder-suicide in my house, because she wasn't going to escape him. You understand? She wasn't leaving him. She just wanted to change locations because of her circumstances. She wasn't looking for a way of escape.
She wasn't going to leave him.
She wasn't leaving him. So she was just going to transfer that to my place.
Right.
You understand? Right. And so God had to protect. And sometimes you got to say no.
Right. A lot of times you got to say no.
No, because guess what? The victim may want to run to your house. but they're being watched, like Prestige just said. So now you've opened your home and your children up.
And now everybody's victim. Correct. So now the domestic situation goes from being in a relationship to the outside relationship to your household.
Exactly. And your friend's household and your family's house, whoever you bring into the situation, which is why they want to isolate you. So you can't, even as the person going through the trauma, sometimes it's hard to understand when people have to set up limitations and boundaries or bring other organizations or say, let's call the police, because we're trying to protect everybody. What's the point if I bring you here and he take me out?
Right.
Don't look at it like that.
You don't. You just look at it like, I want to help. I want to help. I want to help. I don't want to be made to feel bad. I don't want people to say I'm wrong because I didn't help.
But sometimes you got to say no, unfortunately.
Self-preservation. I can't help you. I cannot help you if I am no longer here.
Yep. And you know what? It's just, that's just the way the cookie does crumble. Like sometimes people absolutely are not ready. Majority of times they're not ready. And so you want to help them. And I mean, because there's times I've been called out my house. Like after I left my situation, it was just like I became like this DV advocate because I was just determined to get people away from bad situations. And there's times when I was called out my house like 2, 3, 4 in the morning. I'm out in my car and I'm going to go pick up people from dangerous situations. They go right back, and I'm just like, but I knew how to be patient though, because I knew it took time. Like because I was in that situation, I know that the first time ain't always the only time that this might happen, and you might leave. You might keep coming back because you want to see the good in that person, but patience. And Tara said that earlier, you have to be patient, and then you also got to know when you are not fit for it. It's too much for me. I was this situation just might be too much. Let me, transfer you to someone else who can really help you for real, because there's people who that's their profession. That wasn't my profession. I was just trying to get people away from that situations. But a lot of people, they went back, and I knew it wasn't nothing personal. It's just really where their heart was. Until you ready, until you know that you're ready, you're not gonna leave. And
most of the time, the first time is never going to be the last time, because you're just always like, oh, well, maybe it was a one-time thing. He's not going to do it again.
Then it's the I'm sorry's, and then it's the flowers, and then it's the good makeup sex and all that other good stuff.
We all know. Tell the truth. Talk about it. Exactly. This is what people need to hear. It's okay. You get a little stupid when he dick you down, and then you don't realize until he slap you up that this ain't what you really want, right? And so it's okay to be this transparent and honest, because this is what people need to hear, so that they can release the shame that's associated with it. And then the worst is to get a community of people that you think are supporting you, and they wear out because they get offended. You see what I'm saying? Their heart,
they get tired.
You went back. And so now I'm offended. So now you beating me up too for going back, and you don't understand my circumstances. You understand? And so this is why you have to sometimes say no. And I didn't understand how God had his hand on me to do this work until late, because I remember being about 14, and my closest friend was dating a guy who was famous, and she was impressed by his age, and he was sexually abusing her every night. And she would call me crying, screaming, like the sex is rough, it hurts, it doesn't feel good, it's I do this, I do that. I'm 14.
Right.
I'm 14. I'm like, and so when I finally said, like, you don't want to talk to your mom, like, I can't handle this. I lost her as a friend. And to this day, if we speak, it's very as if she can't understand, because she feels like I dropped her. You understand? And I was honest enough to say, I'm not equipped.
Right.
When I start to cry at night thinking about what you're doing, I'm not equipped. You understand?
Exactly.
My day-to-day activities, she was about 2 years older than me. You understand? I was like, I'm not equipped.
Right. Why is this why would a 16-year-old think that a 14-year-old is equipped?
But it doesn't even, the age didn't even matter. You got some people that are younger than you and that could guide you more than anybody or older person do. So she was able to call her and say, yo, what to do. And she could have told her, and Sarah could have told her, listen, do this, that, and the third. Who's to say she didn't guide her beforehand? And then once it got out of hand, it was like, yo, talk to your mother. Because a friend, don't get me wrong, is not going to go tell your mother. Your friend is going to hide your darkest secrets.
That's
your
not what I'm saying.
Know all of this shit going on.
Not saying that Antara couldn't tell her what to do, but just the fact that she's 14, why do you think that I'm mentally stable enough to listen to this all the time?
That was her friend.
And guess what? That was her friend. You know what? She's absolutely right. Why would you think that way? But let me help shape that perspective. How many parents emotionally dump on their children?
Hello.
Because they've been in domestic violence relationships. This is why I do intergenerational trauma. Because once again, we got a lot of little girls raising the next generation. Mm-hmm. We got a lot of little boys raising the next generation because something happens in their childhood, whether they witness domestic violence. And if you don't never deal with that hurt, you grow up with a part of you that grew out instead of growing up. There's a difference. Growing out allows you to deal with habits and coping skills. Growing up makes you say, I got to cut that off. You understand? I got to cut off trying to be everybody's savior. I got to cut off trying to make sure everybody else is straight. You understand? I got to grow up because I'm growing out because everybody is feeding me their garbage. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of children are emotionally carrying their parents.
Right. And they say it. You hear them say it. They be like, like I feel like I raised my parent. Like you like, wait, what? What you mean? But that happens in some shape, form, or the other. That's why I'm big on letting kids be kids. Like people,
right.
This looks like this. My kids are 2 years apart. My oldest son has never been responsible for raising the youngest one. He has never been.
Right.
Because I always knew. Because even though we had this huge family, and so what they did with us was the oldest ones had to always have the youngest ones. Like we going to school, we always got them. Coming home from school, we got them again.
You was the mama too, right?
We carrying up, you know what I'm saying? But they put it. My family made it as if it was like, okay, y'all all go to the same school, so everybody just come home together. No, I'm in the 5th grade. He in kindergarten. Why he tagging on?
Right.
Or you could get and stuff like that really does happen, and we think that that's just like, oh, that's what you gotta do, as like, that's what you just gotta do. No, that's not right though, because you're not allowing the other person the oldest kid, to actually grow. You got them to grow, right? I gotta do homework with him. I ain't his mama. Why I'm doing his homework? Why am I helping him with his homework? He is not like this.
I gotta do my own homework.
Right. And then so like when I had kids, I know that there's mistakes that I have made and probably continue to make to this day. I know I like my kids when I'm speaking to them, I curse a lot. I just started cursing out of nowhere. I don't even know where I curse a lot. And so it be times I have to think about, I'm like, Precious, why are you cursing so much? And they just be like, one time, my kids was like, all right, you want to put $1 in a jar for every time you curse? Because they was wow, because I didn't think of it.
You didn't think it was that bad, right?
But that really made them feel some kind of way, because I'm always cursing. Right. That's over here. Like, why do I need to talk like that? And they not even bad kids, So it's a lot of things that I know that I could improve on. As much as I'm so big on this whole family love and dynamics and stuff, but I do pride myself on trying not to traumatize them in a lot of ways. Like I'm very cognitive of how they feel. I ask them. They have an opinion because they are humans, and so I think that's another form of abuse too. Because you think that children they don't feel like you do what I say and that's it. We need to have a conversation. And the kids will call me for a family meeting in a minute, okay? My kids would be like, can we have a family meeting? Because we need to talk to you. And they are very respectful, and I'm happy about that, because I want them to be able to come and say how they feel. I don't just tell them, I don't just you don't just dictate and call it a day. Here you go. I don't dictate the situation. I don't dominate the conversations. I allow them to tell me how they feel. So I try to keep trauma from them as much as I can, but sometimes I can't help it. I'm human. I might curse out.
Parenting does not come with instructions, and even if it did, it wouldn't be correct, because every child is different. Even if you got 5 kids, each one of them are different. And men go through domestic violence as well.
Yeah,
and I know.
You know what? We just keep saying men and women. Children go through it as well.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do in the household as well. But it starts from more so the parents. It starts so more for the foundation in the household. You understand what I'm saying? So if the foundation is erupt, 9 times out of 10, the child gonna be erupt too. So it starts from the men and the women, or the women and the women and the men and the, whatever. But I've noticed,
so you know how sometimes it's still domestic violence, but like the uncle or whatever supposed to be watching the kids and
right,
assaulting the children, right. And then the mother just tries to sweep the shit under the rug. Like it's not happening.
Family secrets. That was when we did our topic on family secrets.
That is
domestic situation. Yes.
Generational. That's definitely a generational thing. I would say
hurt people. You are correct. Yeah. You are correct, Adam.
And heal people help heal people too. Right. And so we always like to talk about hurt people, and you're absolutely right. I love to talk about the language of changing that narrative. And so heal people too. Right. We got to be around what we want to become. Right. And so I understand exactly what Rainbow was saying. It is a form of domestic violence. Right. It's that ancestral pain. Yep. That is the generational trauma. And again, why? Because that's how they were raised. Because my mom didn't do anything about it. So I'm in a really great place in terms of rebuilding with my family. When my cousins call and say things like, how do you stop the intergenerational trauma? That's a great question. That means you intrigued. You know what I mean? You ready to start like, maybe
you ready to start your healing process.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, sis is on to something. Because it takes somebody being strong and courageous to make a decision like that. Because when everybody is going straight, you got to make a decision to exit stage right. Or stage left. You understand? You got to decide, like, I'm not following the crowd. Yeah. I'm going to do what I think is best for me and my family. And that's not always easy. And so, yeah, a lot of it is just being passed down. And so I'm looking to pass down healing like they've been passing down hurt.
Absolutely.
Okay, good.
Absolutely. This was good. Yeah.
Do you have any information you would like to give? I know you're doing the suicide walk on Sunday. I know you mentioned a men's situation.
On Saturday they're having a domestic violence forum, right? But she said she's gonna get the information so we can promote that for her. Yes. But where can they reach you? So if they wanted to do some healing work on themselves.
So you can email me. I'm at restoring.remnant, REMNANT @gmail.com, or you can go to my website at restoring the remnant RTR, the initials, right? .org. So restoring the remnant RTR.org. I'm also going to be doing something that's closed, though. That's closed to New York Theological Seminary, which you were talking about Envy. And that's where we will be talking about domestic violence against men. And so we don't realize, like, how 1 in 500 may be raped, right? Or 1 in 7 maybe, right? And we think that number should really be to a woman. But women,
I think it should be 0. Nobody should be out here being raped.
Absolutely.
Like at all. But what I'm saying is, people think those numbers apply to women.
They don't think it happens, right?
That it happens to men, right? And men don't talk about their sexual abuse as much as women talk about their sexual abuse.
Because men actually think it's a badge of like honor, but they really were sexually abused. Like, when you hear about these 12-year-olds or 8-year-olds having sex with the babysitter, like, yeah, boy, that was it. No, it wasn't. That's abuse.
But think about in their community, that's a coping mechanism.
Oh God!
Because when a boy goes and tells, it is embarrassing.
No, it's embarrassing.
It is embarrassing for some that recognize the shame associated with the experience, right? But then there are some who think when they go to their community, they be like, "Oh boy, you got some tail, you got some pussy. Oh, that's what I'm talking about." I'm not saying you 12 years old, you 13 years old.
Right.
You a man now.
You what you supposed to do with that thing? You just got abused, sir.
And they don't know it.
And don't even realize it.
Yeah.
And that's why people think ignorance is bliss.
Yeah.
And that's why sometimes, people are comfortable in their dysfunction. And so I've had to leave a lot of environments when I started to talk about my sexual abuse, you know, being an incarcerated wife, because that's what I consider it. All those different things that I've experienced and overcome that people are afraid to talk about. I'm like, I still got my mind and I'm not blubbering in Bellevue. So you're going to get this understanding, right? But with that, a lot of people feel like I didn't know I was being abused. So I've come across, like I said, a lot of my clients are 70, 60. They will say to me, like, I didn't realize that was abuse.
They thought they were just performing their wifely duties.
No, they be playing house. A lot of times we be playing house when we're younger and don't even realize it with your cousin, with your uncle, with whoever, and that's where it all starts at. Because I was reading something, and that was actually in the book, and I was like, oh shit, that's right. You'd be surprised. Back in the days, and a lot of stuff that we grew up on was not right. And then now sex is more in the forefront.
I ain't played house.
And then those kids, and then those kids go to school and they do it in the playground, or they take you in the bathroom, right?
Right.
So they do stuff to you. So I remember all those little things. Little kids in the community come with me in the bathroom, and then they start touching you and play, and you like, what is going on? You know what I'm saying? Or you don't say what's going on because you think that it's normal. And so when they go to school, and so I've met a lot of women and men who have been honest enough to say, yeah, I did things to my classmates because it was done to me. And
they seen it at home, right?
And sometimes that's how that kid gets saved. But imagine, because they went to school and did it to somebody else, that now when that kid says something about it and it makes them look at that other kid's household, now that child has a chance to use their voice to break the silence, to talk about what did domestic violence do to them. You understand? And so a lot of triumphant tools. We have trauma healing groups. If you look on Restoring the Remnant, RTR.org, we do trauma healing groups that are small Bible-based groups for 6 to 12 people. Oh, sex tag is when, so I remember one time they were running, and when they catch you, they pull your pants down.
What?
Oh, wow.
I ain't never played that.
I ain't hear that one.
I ain't never heard it. I would never played that. I'd have been like, we ain't pulling no pants down here.
That's crazy, right?
Yeah, I remember that, and I used to always be on the sideline getting the evil looks because I didn't want to play, because I was like, who thinks that's cute? Getting your pants pulled down in the middle of the street.
Project Kids Game doing so.
But you know what though? A lot of times, like just thinking back to like the playing house thing, just the stuff that happens from when you were younger, and then like the stuff that you experience, right? Like where you might have seen like a girl who was fast or whatever, who was faster than you, because everybody was faster than me. I didn't even have. My titties didn't even start to develop until I was damn near 16 years old, to be honest. I was flatter than flat. But I didn't even, like, my friend showed me how to kiss, and she showed me on her hand, and she just thought that it was the worst thing that I was 13 and didn't know how to tongue kiss. And I was like, why am I tongue kissing people? Like, I knew better than that.
Right.
Like, just to think back to stuff like that, like, we call little girls fast, but you just never know why they fast. Like,
right.
Fast tell girl, why is she fast though? Nobody never thought to look into why that fast girl was fast. Like, nobody. She could have been getting abused, or could have had gotten abused, didn't have.
And that's how she.
Like, why do you think she was so hypersexual? Like, we never know why these children are so hypersexual. Like, boys, we just think, it's just
being a boy, right?
Right. But women, why do we think that the girl? Because clearly these little boys, what do they say? We having sex with someone, but why are the girls so hypersexual then?
It's a lot.
Why is it that they're like, you know what? All right, I'll have sex with you. Why are they just like, okay, I'll do it?
They're so naive and blinded by it.
But I think it's society's way of trying to cope with the fact that they don't want to deal with the injustices that are being done to our children. Yep. So it's easier to say sis is fast and to say that somebody inappropriately touched her or had inappropriate conversations or watching pornography when they were supposed to be babysitting. You understand? It's about us being accountable for what we've done in front of children. And as long as we have record artists and actresses and celebrities who feel like as a parent, it is your responsibility to guard your children, children, we always going to have problems, and our children will always be tainted because we were all once a child. That's universal. Nobody came here a full grown adult. If you do, I don't want to meet you. You understand? But at the end of the day, we are all came here as children. How could you not want to protect a child?
It's the things we hear and see, Dawn. Dawn said, and you're correct. You see it
That's
at home.
why children,
now you want to go try it.
Children's place. They don't need to be seen. When adults are around, go where you need to be. You don't need to be in adult business because they're sponges and they hear everything.
But that's everything. But you got to make sure that environment is right because that's when the stuff happens. When you put the kids in the other room and say, get away from the adults is having grown conversations. And it was when my parents and my relatives was like, go in the back and do what you do. I remember having to tell my mom, 8 years old in Georgia, yo, he's showing a porn.
Right.
My mom was like, what? Right. I'm like, while you telling me go in the room with the kids and be quiet, they watching porno. You understand? Now I got images in my head at 8 years old. You see what I'm saying? And so again, we got to be real cautious. What that means is as adults, you need to monitor your time. You need to wait until either children are going to bed and you knew that they were going to bed, or you made space for this activity that you're going to do. But a lot of times it's about the lack of discipline in adults. And so kids are privy to what's being seen and heard. I'm ready to smoke my blunt. I'm ready to do my do. And I need you to stay in the room. Kids, my daughter that came out 4 times since I've been on this podcast. I fed her. I washed her. I did everything I was supposed to do. Right. It's not her bedtime yet. So again, kids are going to be kids. And we cause damage. If I would have been on the podcast, like, you need to take your ass to bed because
right.
That is the God honest truth. You just spoke a word because that is. I was about to say that. Well, not in that context, but in that context, but not that same.
Dawn said he saw a lot of porn when he was young.
Yes,
I believe it.
We have children around places they should not be.
And it's so accessible for them now.
Right, but it was always accessible to us though. Like, come on, you how many things you saw when you was 5 to 10 years old that you shouldn't have saw? Because, like Antara said, they don't know how to manage.
I can't say that I did.
Oh, I can. I had a huge family. I tell you, why you think I don't drink? Because I saw crackheads. I still know what crack smell like. You know, I am 36 years old. How was it that I was a kid and knew what a crack was? How? Because my uncle smoked crack. And guess what? My grandmother would not let them leave the house. And you know what I'm saying? Like, that's traumatizing. Right. You won't catch me drinking anything other than some juice. And people always find it to be very funny, but I'm so serious. I don't want to become a crackhead. I'm traumatized. There's stuff that I've seen. When
that you don't even want to put your foot in
I'm not going that way, and
I'm not even going to attempt it.
It wasn't even like like my grandmother. My grandmother didn't know she traumatized me. I'm pretty sure she probably still don't think she traumatized us.
She was protecting you and him. That's the part. That's the bad part. That sometimes grandma don't know, so she think I'm protecting the babies and I'm protecting my son. You understand? I don't want my son smoking crack in the street. He get hurt. He steal hurt somebody. Right. But I don't want the kids to be hurt. So it's a grandma did her best. Grandma did her best.
Grandma did her best.
Listen, you're not drinking nothing.
You know what? Ciroc might not make you smoke crack, but guess what? I got addictive personalities. Clearly, I'm not drinking Ciroc.
Oh, yourself,
right? You know, you know yourself. You know your limits. Exactly.
I don't want to find out what it could do to me, so I don't need it. I'll continue with my juice.
She said no Ciroc.
Nope.
Or the rock.
I know. I don't want none. Right. You know, like it's really just what it is. There's stuff that you don't think is a trauma until you get older. Because I can't imagine how my grandmother felt, with her sons being crackheads, but everybody else in your household is just the perfect. And then you got these kids. She put them in a basement. We got a 3-story house. She put them in the basement. And we were, in the rest of the house, it was just like 2 separate worlds, but it wasn't, because guess what? When they started smoking crack, we smelled it. We were kids.
Yeah, you do smell it, right.
We shouldn't have.
It
came through everywhere. We shouldn't.
The stairs, it came up the steps and everything.
Because I can't imagine having my kids in a situation like that. Like, you know, and my mom, my grandfather hated it, but you know, my grandmother for him wanted, because that's her kids, that's their kids or whatever. But like my mom, she should have removed us, but she didn't. You know what I'm saying? And I'm pretty sure if my mother was here, she wouldn't think that she did it injustice. Well, she probably would now, but at the time, it was just like, oh yeah, like they in the basement, they ain't bothering nobody, they in the basement. Yeah,
but you can smell it, it's reeking, right?
Yeah, we didn't.
And that's why I said it starts from the foundation. It starts from home. Because even like with myself, I've seen my mother and my father fight. I've seen it to the point where the police will call a number of times, and me and my sister got to run down the block and call the cops because my mother got the knife on my father's neck. And I'm like, oh boy, to the point I remember verbatim, the officer said, if we come back here, Miss Miles, talking to my mother, this will be the last time we come back here because you will not have a Christmas because we're going to take the kids. And that was my mother's last straw, and she removed us out the situation. So once she removed us out the situation, now my father was stalking her. It was like everywhere we went, it was something. It was to the point he was breaking the windows out of her car and harassing her at work. Wherever job she went to, he was coming up there. That's how I know so much. That's why when you said, Antara, when you have to do certain things on your own, you don't have a circle with you. Your faith has to be strong. And I must say, from the beginning and from young, my faith had to be strong because I had to see my mother remove herself from certain situations. And she had brothers and sisters. And back in that time, that type of time, and they just wanted to put in the work. They wanted to stomp them out, and I've seen it. My mother make a call, he had it again. Uncle so-and-so on his way, and then when you realize what he really ready to do, now you're like, well, dad, it really went down. They really do give it up like that. But then in my situation, when, like I say all the time, I'm the only one pretty much in New York. My mom is in Florida, my father's in Florida, my sister's in Florida. I have cousins out here, but I'm very more so to myself. So I'm very much on some. If I gotta do it, it gotta get done. So I know my faith is strong because I've gotten myself out of situations more so on my own and do research. You understand what I'm saying? That's how I found out about Safe Horizon. That's how I found out about COPE. That's how I found out about different, with going to the shelter, about different resources, and I know how to guide people. Listen, bitch, you're going to have to do this. You're going to have to do that. You're going to have to, it's up to, I can help you, but so much you got to help yourself. So I'm also educate a person. They just going to have to figure out how to do it on their own.
People do it on their own time, but I'm glad you mentioned those organizations because we're going to have a part 2 because we definitely have to close out the show. We're going to put the information, the links in the we're gonna put it on.
We're gonna drop it below.
Yeah. We're gonna put it on the website.
Right.
It's gonna be in the box below.
Yeah,
and we'll also post it on our Instagram page. I'll post it on
That's
Instagram.
What I was trying to say. We're gonna post it on social media.
We'll post the domestic violence for Safe Horizon. We'll post it for COPE. Any other resources that the ladies do have, we'll reach out to everybody. We'll come together and I'll post it on our social media platforms. If it's anonymously, nobody has to reach out to us. Nobody has to tell us anything that they want the services. We're going to provide it. If you know somebody going through a situation, hey, shoot her a text, shoot him a text. Yo, call this number, go in the bathroom. If you got to cry, get it out. Clean yourself. It's okay.
We're gonna definitely put it up there so you guys know we have Miss Antara. We love when she come up.
We appreciate you. Yes, I called her. I was like, "Do you think?" She was like, "I don't know." And then she was like, "I do it."
She up there and she dropped gems. I love it
all the time.
I think that you are such a blessing. We love you so much
on
the show. So you can reach Miss Antara. We're gonna put all her information about but it's W.O. Okay, boom. We got some information stolen. Let's go ahead now. All right, y'all. We will see you guys next week. We should be doing a part 2. We in Domestic Violence Awareness Month anyway, so we should do a part 2, but we'll see how that goes. But we'll see you guys next week, same time, same place. We love y'all.
And see y'all next week, and we'll see y'all later. Follow all our platforms. We gotta go. Dog got something to do, so he's trying to rush us off probably right now at the moment. So if y'all don't already, Yes, if y'all don't already follow us on Envious Creations, Rainbow Refreshers, I will drop Miss Antara's Instagram. Also follow 360 Photos, which is Precious Instagram. She's gonna have to convert it in a minute, but we're gonna work on that. So please, y'all, please stay tuned. We appreciate y'all, Miss Antara. We thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we will see y'all next week, same time, same channel on the Evening Rush Network. Let's go.
Bye, y'all.